Hi, this is Brent, and we're going to continue on with the Droid Empress. Now we're going to start to block in some flats to go along with this um, occlusion that we put in on the last episode. And this is like a little bit in contrast to what's to the let's say the Pascal process in the Soho editions, where we're laying down flat tones, and then in that particular piece, we're going to go once we lay down in flat tones, then we're going to go in with some occlusion, particularly using airbrush. We're going to go in with some occlusion, and then we're going to bring in some higher like low light values to light values. In this particular case, we already have the occlusion down, and we're about to go on top of it with flats, right? Because we're just going to approach the flats into it in a separate layer, okay? And yeah, and matter of fact, the layer is not going to be on top. I think the layer is going to be on the bottom. We can do it on the bottom, and then that way we augment the occlusion that's on the top, or we can do it on top and put it on multiply. But I try not to utilize multiply, or I try not to utilize a lot of layer settings, because I found that when it comes to, let's say, printing, sometimes, well, things translate properly, but when you're, let's say, when you got a lot of layers or something like that, and then this one's on multiply, and this one's on that, and this one's on that, it can get a little confusing, and you can easily wind up having a layer set wrong. Right, and then particularly if then you go into print, and then print comes back, and you're like, what the heck? Also, I try to minimize my amount of layers now, right? Just try to simplify all of that. So once again, the less layers, the less things can go wrong. Basically, that's what I want to say. Any case, so let's grab the mighty pen here, and let's get dialed in. We have okay, so here we have her with her occlusion in. I got her occlusion layer is on. Why is this one's locked, right? Okay, why is the lock symbol not on it? Okay, and so we want to go ahead and start adding flat. So I'm just gonna do some basic stuff and add like a little blue tone for her. She's gonna be chrome, but, well, I always like to go with like more of some highly reflective titanium. I like that a little bit better. That's my thing. But if I go with that with the occlusion like that, then it's gonna be very hard to discern. So I'm actually didn't go in with the blue tone. Because the blue tone is actually going to be part of the reflective value, let's say. All right. So if I'm talking about it properly there. So let's go ahead. We got occlusion in. And I want to go below it. I want to do my flat, and I'll just call it a color body. And just flat color body. Okay. Right. And by doing it like that, and while I'm doing this, I'm not thinking about, and I'll do it with my marker today too. I'm not thinking about it in regard to like where the light direction is coming from. I'm just adding local color. And that's a baby doll. That's not a baby. That's a baby blue. Let's go down with. I'll go with this titanium blue. Right. And I'll see how far down I want to go. So let's just start adding it to her, and then we'll see. Because right now I'm thinking of it. If I can just do it in a little gesture real fast, I'm thinking of it as, she's this blue. She's gonna have that. So that's the tone that she's gonna have. Let me just circle it out so I have it here. She's the Empress, so she's gonna have more of a violet. It's going to be more of a violet dress. So if it's more of a violet dress, then that means her headdress is going to translate into something more spectacular, right? And this spectacular, it's almost like her headdress is like this massive crown kind of thing, right? That's how I'm seeing it. And so this tone, this is just a little thumbnail. This is like, so if you could, some people looking at this going, what the heck is he doing? This is like a little, like actually like a little color mock, right? And so, and this tone that we have here, I'm just trying to mark it out so everybody, oh, Jesus, I'm trying to mark it out so everybody can see. This tone we have here, this orange tone, is going to needs to, now this is all coming out intuitively, right? So it needs to come around. It's going to be in here, but then I want it to, it's going to echo somewhere in here, somewhere in here, somewhere in there. So it's going to kind of wrap, it's going to kind of wrap around her, complementing, it's going to be complementing off of the cool tone within, it's actually, titanium has a warm tone, but then the cool reflective tones of the titanium is going to have a warm tone, so it's going to be like a burnt, there's going to be like burnt warm tones in there as well. And then it's going to translate into like the garment is going to have, it's going to be violet, but it's going to be violet that merges with blue. So so that's how it's going to unify. So violet merging with blue. Then we have the titanium warm tone with bluish reflections merging with the orange, and then we have orange that's going to be working itself out with maybe some yellow. So it's going to be a very spectacular kind of a piece here, the world. Right. So let's now that that's fully explained and I got timers going off and everything like that, which is cool. That's fine. Fine. Let's go ahead and delete all of this. Okay. And as if though I remember everything I just said, right? So let's go in, let's go marker. I do have my little swatch down here, so let's go in with this cooler blue, and we'll just start working that in. Now at this point, has nothing to do with, it's just me blocking it in. I do it manual. I do everything manual. I don't use selection. Now no, okay. Let me show you my other thing too. Let's do it fast. So if I do it fast, then this is what, if I block it in standard, I'm just going to be going like this throughout the whole form. If I do it fast, I'm going to wind up going like this, and I'm going to add some darker tones and blotchy tones, which I prefer to do, honestly, because it gives me, it adds some information to the color instead of the color just being ultra flat. So it gives the color more character. So let's just do it a little bit faster. I'm trying to do it like at my regular speed kind of thing. Like in here, then I would double up on it and let it darken maybe. Like I was doing there, right? Okay. Like that. And it automatically gives everything character. I'll go over her lips because they're just going to be colored. See this, so though this little stuff, this little variation, it gives a character. It's just going to add to a slight variation of the color in the end. I can go in, of course, and soften it, but there's no need for me to do it at the very moment. All right. Then I usually go in like this. Uh-oh, redo. Come back. What just happened? Yeah, okay. There you go. All right. I zigged when I should have zagged, right? Okay, so this is one stroke down for him. Okay, boom, 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 boom. All right, and I didn't do the lips, no big deal. Let's just go in We just erase. As we erase, we are always studying the form. It's just a natural process. Studying the form, looking at it from different angles and stuff as I do it, because then all of a sudden something else will stand out. Let me give her, this actually needs a smudge. Like that. Because I lost the shape. Okay. It's all about retention. I think I have some occlusion supposed to be happening in here. Let me, before we go on any further, oh, and then I can, if I have open spots, I'll just smudge it in, you know, just to fill it in, right? Try not to leave open spots, okay? You get a print back and you're like, what is that in there? Kind of a thing. Let me, I just want to add something to the occlusion. Let me look in the occlusion real fast. Is that the oc layer? Where's my real oc layer? Real oc layer. Let me see something. Oc layer. Let's go to gray. If I add, I'm thinking that the drape, that she should be covered here, and then her back is gonna sit out. That could work. It makes more logical sense to the fabric. Okay. Yeah. But then here is the blue. This is all right, I see now. Here is where the blue is going to be. This is her body right here. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And so let's go now. Let's just lock out the occlusion layer. Go back to the color body. Go back into our marker mid. Right, like that. And then once we get the proper colors in there and stuff, then it'll pop out. All right. Okay. Now let's go. That's body. Let's yeah, let's body. Let me drag. I'm going to drag this blue through it a little bit through the fabric. So I don't have to add it second. Okay. I'll even smudge it in so it's not so harsh. Right. It's just a color shift that I want to have happen, so I want to have that blue in there already. Let's just drag in. Now on top of that blue, well, we're going to go into, that's all in the blue layer. Let's go into let's make a color layer for the gown. Okay. And now we're just going to add some violet. I'm going to do this upside down, just so I can see the form, see what's actually happening inside of it. See where it's going. Let's go here, right there. Violet. Aha! How about we choose a marker? A little dark. Value. Can I go up a value? It's pretty hard. All right, fine. But we're going to go, now we're going to go with this one. All right. Now, right now, it's on top. Something like that. Ooh, I kind of like that. I scrub through where the occlusion is just to see if I can find something that's going to pick out, that's going to pick that color, right? Let me drag it underneath. Ooh, see that subtle? This is with it on top. These are these cool little, I love happy accidents. Let me orient it. There you go. So this is what it, this is the foundational stuff. This is with it on the top, the purple, the violet, technically the violet on the top, overlapping the blue because I want to have that echo in. So it's always going to be in this piece. It's always going to be like at least two colors and two analogous, which means colors side by side on the color wheel. Two analogous colors interacting with each other through almost on every part of her body. That's how this one's going to wind up working out. And so this is the violet on top of the blue as a separate layer, right? And then here is the violet below it. And you see what happens down here? That's really cool. That's really cool. This transition here, right? So that's something I just want to keep, I'll keep in mind. I may even double the layer, like duplicate the layer to make it more make it more potent, then I can adjust them. But I don't want to get too technical with it. As far as I just want to keep it simple. That's what we're doing going in. Let's address the headdress. We got blues and blues. We got to address the headdress because we're going to come around. Well, the blue is going to go to a green. That would be only analogous, right? So let me see. Let me go back to this color body. Because I like that theory. And let's go back to our blue. And let's just find it again. Let's find it on the, let's say we said our cooler values. That would be, but it's going to lay darker. I don't know. That really should be a warmer brown. It's chrome. All right, we're not going to mess with that one. We'll just go straight to the thing because it's going to be an earthy tone, but that earthy tone is not going to be green. It's going to be more of a ruddy brown, right? Once we lean into going into the titanium kind of look that I like. So I just call this crown. So let's go, and I had that brilliant orange, so I'll just lay in this brilliant orange. Crown, put crown above ground, crown above gown, right? And let's see what picks out. Now you'll see what I mean by what picks out, because now we're into the world of heavy line. Now we're into the world of heavy line, right? We haven't come back again, right? So we haven't touched the front. Well, I guess we should. Let's do it now. Da 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 da. Yeah, not at the top, put it at the bottom, because highlight's gonna go in there. All right, I'll come back. Okay, so this is my spec. I'm basically speckling it, right? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So now what we're doing. This is where the heavy line really comes in, because the heavy line is at the top layer, right? So because we're putting the color underneath, so the top layer is this, right? It has to be explained a little bit. So heavy line, two top layers, heavy line in the occlusion. Anything that goes underneath that is only going to be peeking through, right? So all of this stuff is peeking through, and is peeking through, which means it holds on to the occlusion, it holds on to the heavy line. It may vary depending on what I'm talking it out logically as we go. Um, but but it will vary at times throughout whatever piece I'm doing, right? And this is not specularity. This is actually like this tone is actually like a form of, I call it labeling. It's not spec. So let's so now I'm just cleaning up. And I'm not going to clean up 100%. It all depends. So let me not be so close. Like this. No, too hard. Like that. No, keep it long. Keep that one long. Keep that one long and keep that one. I'll keep that one long too. Right? Good. Okay. Then we just, what I mean by clean, I'm gonna leave a lot of this behind, right? But some of these stray ones here, I'm gonna take out. So a lot of it's suggestion, but I'll leave this some of this inner stuff. I'll leave that like that. Okay. Now I'll even leave this little piece there. Let me go back to who's this? Okay. Oh, I see where she's going. I see where she's going. I see where she's going. Okay. Now I need to look at it upside down. Ooh, I like it. Okay. We always do the whole classic thing of like thumbnail viewing. View it at thumbnail. This is just the base color, right? But still, is it holding together? Yeah. Okay. 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 All right. So now let me work in. Let's go back to. Let me lock out those layers. And let me go back to the color gowns. Nope. Let's go back to the color body. Let's just make another layer for the color body. Let's just call it color body 2 or something. Okay. So we can throw in our with our blue. Now we want to throw in the warmer tone and see what we can do. It's going to take a little experimenting to get the just that titanium kind, just the feeling I want for it, and then I'll suggest in reflections or whatever it needs to be done. Oh, and it is that gray, but that gray needs to, this is the, it needs to go to a warmer tone. So it doesn't match up so well with the, so it doesn't match up so well with the occlusion, right? So I want to go in with a tone like this, like something like that, right? Now, I'm going to do something bold and unusual. It's coming on the color body, so technically, if I go like this, it's going to go underneath everybody, see? And this is exactly what I want to do. Just go heavy like that. All right. experimenting right now because I want to see if I can take that, if I can take this, and if I can, with my eraser, just create these beautiful gradations. Let me see. Well, I don't know if I want to start with gradation, so hold on. This is the cone. Blue sky. But let me go with a hard brush because I have no control over the gradient. Let me see. Because technically this blue is a higher value. Then let me see if I smudge. Okay, hold on. Smudge too strong. Yeah. Something like that. Let me just then go in with another softer brush here. Oh no, soft brush eraser. All right, let's try the upside down. It's not actually enough. I can feel it here. That's what my hand wants to do. My hand wants to take an eraser. Exactly what I'm just trying to talk out what intuitively I'm getting. And it wants to go like this to create like a luminous gradation. Eraser, color body too. Right? You're gonna erase, right? Okay. And let's reduce the opacity on it. Like that. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I feel like I must have a dog hair on me or something like that. I just keep on feeling like I have hair on my face. Like that. So it's real subtle, right? Real subtle. But these are the strokes, these are the movements and stuff that I use to get some of the things that I do. Okay. And ooh, okay. I don't want to soften up anything else. I like. Oh, okay. We'll go like that, right there. Save that. Okay. Let's put the gown underneath. No, it's going to be too similar. Even with the spec, when the spec comes in. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, I do want to add a secondary tone to the what is it, the crown, right? It's not specularity. It's just I want a higher value, like a higher value. This is a yellow. Well, it should be, and it has some red. But then the red's going to flow through everybody too. Let's go white. Okay. All right. A little yellow. So we're going to go color crown 2. All right. So this one's going to go with a little splash, some yellow. Right. And use are we using marker still? Yeah. That's not yellow marker. How about that? Oof, oh, that's garish. Let's warm that up a little bit. Hey, my pen. Oh, because it's limited color. It's like print color that I'm working with. And here's the hair that was bothering me. I'm looking right at the doggy hair. Yeah, there it is. There it is. All right. So, boom. Yeah. Too hard. And I'm probably going to drop this, try to change this layer around a little bit. Right. And then what we're going to do, let's see if we can drop this layer down a little bit. Like that. So it's just like a higher value kind of thing. Right. This is before we get to the body. I just wanted to just address that yellow or that warm tone up there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I see somebody on my blue here. All right. Okay. All right. So that's addressed. Now we can go back to, well, that's addressed, and now we're going to deal with the actual body itself. Okay. Yeah, because now we want to bring out the body now, and let's switch our angle for that. Save that. Let's take a look once again from a small distance. Oh, it looks sparkly. All right, all right. Okay, that was the whole thing wrapping around, right? Wrapping around. Now, technically, I could say with that one on her belly, a little heavy, right? I could say crown. Is it the crown yellow, right? Crown yellow. So we can go in with a soft brush. Oh my gosh, I didn't lock the panels. What the mess? I can go in with a soft brush. Hold on. Well, I don't want to lock panels now. Let's see. Crown. Unlock that. And go in with a soft brush and just pop that down a little bit. Right? And I'm going to do the same thing with the number, with that one too. Okay. Something like that. So it's not as strong. Actually, I want to undo a little bit. I want it to pop just a little bit. Like that. Okay. All right. All right. All right. We'll keep it there. Now, lock all that out. Lock all the crown stuff out. Lock the gown out. And we're only dealing with the body. And now that's body 02. Okay. And I just want one more. So this is going to be it's going to be the light value for the body. And then we're going to do light value for the body and light value for the gown. And then we're going to go in with spec. So those are only like 2 more layers, right? I just like to keep them separate so I can alter them if I need to. So color light. So this one gets a special little light. Color light. once we do the light, then next thing is specularity. That's how I like to roll. Okay, are we saving? We're saving? All right, good. Now for this guy, we're gonna go, we'll keep it, it's got a little more blue than I like, but we'll go straight value. Hold on, Alt. We'll just go in real local, desaturate it. Okay, like that. And now we will use a little airbrush. We will use a little airbrush for this. I'm feeling the airbrush at the moment. Okay, we're making some headway. All right, so let's break open the airbrush, and I haven't seen the air. Whoa! Look how the airbrush activates. Hey, that's new. That's new. I haven't used the airbrush in forever. Okay. Remember I said do stuff upside down? Yeah. So this is how I can feel the light better when I go upside down. Right. There's not much more for me to go. I can't go down to the gown. We're not doing the gown at the very moment. Let that shoulder pop out. There you go. Right. This is definitely getting light. Okay. There is a partner scapula that should be getting light. So if there's any, if there was any break in my occlusion, it's going to work to my advantage because because my lighter value is going to show through without me having to actually suggest geometry, right? And she needs some red in here, so need some red. We need a warm tone. I'm gonna do it on the same layer. So I know it's like, oh my god, don't do it on the same layer, dude. She needs to be hot. Will that work? This is my ruddy color I was talking about before. Here it is. That's my ruddy color. I'm going to try to use it with the airbrush going in the opposite direction. It's not going to show through there. Not too many places to show through. Where are we at with the color? Color body, on color, gown color. Yep, it's at the top. Just let it. Okay, that's all right. So it is working. Have it affect what appears to be a occlusion a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's clean her up and see what that layer looks like and see if we match it around. And there's a dog hair. Hold on. Man. That's what was bugged. It was right there on my glasses. All right. So let's go ahead and erase this and then, okay. And let's just do it technical. Let's just be close up so we can get rid of it on the form. We haven't addressed her lips yet or anything. That's all like secondary. We're just doing primary spaces. Keep this stuff real loose. As I said before, I like to manually erase Because in a lot of cases, first off, because I may leave something behind that I want to leave behind. Second thing is keeps me keeps my muscles in tune with the drawing process. And I prefer to use my tip instead of the eraser. I don't know why. Some of the stuff I will go back and select out because I see I have a whole, and they're in different layers that are just dirtying up the image. But I don't like to have the image too sterile. I have a piece that I do have it where it's like that. One of the mech pieces. It worked out for that because the whole piece is very sterile kind of thing. But other times I like to leave stuff behind. Just adds to that, like, because most of the stuff is just a thought. So it just adds to the thought of it instead of it being like this formal thing. Like this needs to be erased, that needs to be erased. All right. Okay. And see where's the gown? Okay. Starting to get somewhere. Oh, that red worked out really well. See how that red is working out? That red is working out really well. I wonder if I can put that. That color body light. If I stack it above the gown. Ooh, that's really pretty. I think it's pretty. If I stack it above the gown right now, it's got that nice warm tone coming down like that. That's a good starter. Remember I said I wanted to have these two colors. We're falling a little flat back here in the occlusion. Let me just see if I can address that real fast. So, save that. Let's just go to Ox. Yeah, we got a lot of flat. But so this is gonna be like soft eraser. Maybe I'll come back to this one. There you go. There you go. Hey, needs to have some violet in there. Okay, so she's running flat here. Gown, color gown, color gown, gown. And let me just do this real fast. Gown, alt, give me a marker, alt here. And I'm just going to put it in color gown. I'm going to put it underneath the occlusion, just like this. Now I'm going to go back to the arc. I'm now going to erase a little bit. And you see, ooh, I went the wrong way. That's the wrong side. Something like that. Something. There you go. Like something like that. Right. Where we have the fabric and we got something, but it's gonna have some occlusion. So what needs to be done now? What needs to be done is, once again, I did that. Then we're gonna go back with the lighter value for the gown, maybe a lighter value for the gown, but we're in because we had the light for the body, so light. It's gonna be probably a lighter value for the gown. No, not really. The gown's just gonna wind up getting spec. It's gonna keep it separate, but I want to work around with the richness, so I may darken that value of that violet. We may choose to use a layer control to do that. Maybe. And then we work our way back around again because we still have to address the face, address the markers here. Oh, let me just get rid of that. Crown, huh? Okay. Let me just at least tighten that up a little bit. Right, just a simple thing like that. Nothing I'm looking at right now that I want to change at the very moment. Even I could have left that in a little bit stronger. Here you go, back up. So we don't have to erase it all the way down to the, just leave it, let it bleed out beyond the line a little bit. Okay, so, and then, well, when we bring this back in, it's going to change stuff. All right, and that's going to be the next go around. Line, 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 and erase. And okay. Okay, so the next level is we're going to be putting in the spec values. That's going to work stuff. Spec values for, or light value, spec or light value for the gown. Work around the gown richness and start to balance out the overall piece. And then working the differences between the body and the actual gown itself. But right now, we're structurally coming together. Okay, so thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.